Hello guys, here is some other news on segafan230's news. Okay, so today we have some interesting news. Really interesting news. Last time I didn't tell it to you, but I had some interesting news because of the iPhone and Android. Like they are saying 3DS and the NGP PlayStation Vita will be the last dedicated handheld consoles, which is a pretty nice, interesting thing, which we can talk about, and also about the Nintendo 3DS price cuts. But let's leave that bit behind for now and talk about the new news today. So, in Street Fighter X Tekken, there is Cole also, but now I think there isn't someone called Evo. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Now, the next news. The disc. You know, it's the disc. The Blu-ray, DVD, everything of that. So, before there was cartridges, we have them, but then CDs came. DVDs and the Blu-ray with PlayStation 3. Now, they are facing extinction. That of the disc-based game. Expensive, one-time purchases are facing extinction. So, what comes next? I think downloadable content from the internet. Now everyone has to have internet, I think. Now, PlayStation Vita is about as a PlayStation 3 controller. It's a cross-platform control functionality, and according to a Sony Europe research and development manager Phil Rogers, Sony's forthcoming handheld could potentially serve as a controller for the PlayStation 3. So they are like copying the Wii U, as I said in another video. And maybe you didn't see comments like say, you don't know anything about games. I know, the Wii U, the PSV was much before the Wii U. But they didn't say it would be a controller for the PlayStation 3. Yeah, so basically the Wii U is screwed. So basically the Wii U is screwed here. I see. People. And even Vita will be out before the Wii U. Sony's forthcoming handheld compilation serve as a controller for PlayStation 3. Speaking on the Develop conference, Eurogamer reports that Roger told attendees that PlayStation Vita hardware was capable of serving as an advanced controller for the PlayStation 3, allowing users to visualize its touchscreen display, gyroscope, accelerometer, and gamepad controls. In addition to simply enabling players to make use of the Vita's unique control methods, Rogers also said that developers could take advantage of the handheld's onboard processing and display. You can run software on both devices and use the network to sync the game states, said Rogers. Eurogamer reports, and that's pretty good because you then have the processing power of a PlayStation 3 doing that work. Vita doing fancy graphics, however you want to do it, you're not sacrificing the PS3 CPU to be able to have a rich experience of Vita. Rogers went on to discuss the remote play and continuation play functionality across like PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 3, which we saw in games like Ruin and Wipeout HD at E3. And Sony's decision to utilize wireless pairing instead USB connectivity between the two platforms. Additionally, Rogers said that the developers will have the option to go back and get support for PlayStation Vita functionality in PlayStation 3 titles via a downloadable patch. We've contacted Sony for confirmation, so stay tuned for more information. Alright, other news. So, Super Mario 3D Land is the Super Mario game for the Nintendo 3DS. Yes, you never heard of Super Mario 3D Land, but that's the name of the game. And also, Mario Kart 7 is the name of the Mario Kart 3DS. Now, Star Fox will launch in September. And there is an Operation Moonfall group on Facebook, and there are some videos on YouTube, which this is like from Rainfall. They now did Moonfall. They did that to now Majora's Mask, to bring Majora's Mask to the 3DS. There is a petition on the Facebook page, and subscribe to the channel also. I'll bring the links down below. Okay, now let's get down to some other things, because we have a lot to talk about today. Alright, so the PSP is selling more than 3DS. The 3DS comes on top in Japan, and the 3DS's price cut seems that the 3DS is feeling the heat from NGP. Some people are saying, and others are saying, like, before it was $250 for 3DS and $250 for NGP. It was obvious that the NGP would be better, sort of, because it's more, you have more things and it's for the same price. But now they do less, so like it's a bit tough for the NGP, but still, for all that, the NGP it's still worth it. And it's the 3DS is even less now than the DSi XL, and even the Wii was selling more than the 3DS. And last week a Nintendo eShop update was made, so if you didn't put that do that update, this is something for piracy, to not pirate the games of the 3DS. Now, downloadable content is coming for the Nintendo 3DS, and it will be paid down DLC, paid for the money or something. Okay. With each Nintendo 3DS sold, people of the place and people of Nintendo lose money through it. And Iwata 22 feel greatly accountable for having to make the markdown 22% Yeah, he is as a 20% pay cut. Also, some other people from Nintendo are having that. Alright, so let's go for the review of today. Let's do a review about the game. A mini review. And this mini review is of Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition review for the PC. Okay. The prettiest version of Capcom's exemplary fighter. Those who play video games exclusively on PC may miss out on new fighting titles like Mortal Kombat and Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but at least Capcom still cares enough to give its flagship fighting series to the mouse and keyboard crowd. The base version of Street Fighter 4 showed up on PC in July of 2009. Since then, a few different versions of Street Fighter 4 have been pushed out to the consoles, like Super Street Fighter 4 and downloadable updates, and with the PC Arcade Edition you'll find them all combined into one package. This fully updated version contains the full roster of 39, which includes the original 25 fighters, the 10 added Super Street Fighter 4, and the 4 included in the Arcade Edition. That means you access the classics like Canon Ryu Super newcomers like the Slippery Hakan and Nimble Jury, as well as current arcade version competitive favorites Yon and Yang. They are all unlocked from the beginning, and all can be played through the irritating arcade mode, complete with entirely disposable cinematic storybook and a cheap and boss. Really, the only reason to play offline against computer-controlled opponents is to train for live competition, either offline in the versus mode or online. Compared to the original Street Fighter 4, there aren't any major changes to the fighting system in the Arcade Edition, though there are plenty of minor tweaks. Each fighter gets 2 ultras as opposed to 1 in the original Street Fighter 4, so if you never checked out the Super version on consoles, it's certainly an interesting addition. Some ultras function in dramatically different ways. Zangief's Siberian Blizzard, for example, initiates a devastating grip in midair, making it worth playing with each character and testing out all additions to find new favorites. For the rest, the fighting system remains fast and flexible. Executing special moves is still based on the age-old quarter, half circle and charge combinations, which should be easy enough for most players to handle. The hard part is combining them all together into combos, getting the timing right to counter attacks, and learning the intricacies of the focus attack system that, when used properly, can absorb hits and send your opponents crumpling to the ground, vulnerable to follow-up attacks. While the command input are simple to learn, there are a dizzying amount of depth to Street Fighter's gameplay, from tinkering EX modifiers on special moves to focus cancelling, making this one of the best fighting games on the market. The rest of changes in the Arcade Edition mostly have to do with balance adjustments that affect each fighter's relative effectiveness, while changes like hitbox adjustments to normal attacks, reductions to some like Rufus, Big Bang, Typhoon Ultra, and tweaks to the frames of Fei Long's EX Rekka can punches might seem minor at a glance, they can actually have significant side effects for the serious Street Fighter crowd. Whether or not you really care about